Hey everyone, so I just finished reading this absolutely fascinating book that I had to tell you about because honestly, I think it could really change how we all think about our lives. It's called Build the Life You Want: The Art and Science of Getting Happier by Arthur C. Brooks and Oprah Winfrey. And yes, you heard that right. Arthur C. Brooks, a Harvard professor who studies happiness, teamed up with Oprah, who, let's be real, has probably seen more of human happiness and unhappiness than almost anyone else in the world from her 25 years on The Oprah Winfrey Show. It's this incredible blend of deep academic research and profound life experience, and it's not one of those fluffy self-help books. Instead, it's like an owner's manual for your happiness, and it makes a really bold claim right up front. The core idea, which honestly blew my mind a little, is that happiness isn't actually a goal, and unhappiness isn't the enemy. Think about it, we spend so much time chasing this elusive idea of being happy, right? Like it's a destination we'll reach one day after we achieve X, Y, or Z. But the authors explain that if complete happiness in this life were possible, we have figured it out by now. Instead, they say, happiness is a direction. You can always be happier and then happier still, no matter where you are in life. And here's the kicker: your problems, your negative circumstances, don't have to stop you from getting happier. In fact, sometimes they can even help you get happier. You might be wondering, but how can unhappiness not be the enemy? The book makes a really compelling case, using powerful stories like that of Randy Pausch, a computer science professor who gave his famous last lecture at Carnegie Mellon. Full of joy and love, even though he had terminal pancreatic cancer and only months to live, he spent his grim final months getting happier. The truth is, our brains are wired to process negative emotions, and for good reason. They help us survive, learn, and avoid making the same mistakes over and over. Imagine regret, for example. It's uncomfortable, right? But it's an amazing cognitive feat that helps you learn and make better decisions in the future. So the secret isn't to get rid of unhappiness, it's to accept it and learn to grow from it. So, if happiness isn't a feeling you catch and hold forever, what is it? The authors compare it to a Thanksgiving dinner, say it's made of three macaroons: enjoyment, satisfaction, and purpose. Enjoyment isn't just pleasure, it's pleasure plus communion and consciousness. Like eating with loved ones and making a memory, rather than just filling your belly. Satisfaction is the thrill of accomplishing a difficult goal you worked for, but it's temporary. You can get it, but you can't keep it, like the Rolling Stones sang. And purpose, the most crucial one, is about finding meaning in life, even in suffering. As Viktor Frankl, the Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, taught, the way you accept your fate and suffering can add deeper meaning to your life. This brings us to the first big piece of the puzzle: managing your emotions. This isn't about denying or eliminating pain, but understanding and dealing with it. The key concept here is metacognition, which literally means thinking about thinking. It's the act of consciously experiencing your emotions, separating them from your behavior, and refusing to be controlled by them. Oprah herself talked about being a judge on the book's personality test, Generally Calm, and how she stayed content even during her stressful beef trial in Amarillo. By focusing on gratitude for the little things like a comfortable bed or pie, it's about realizing your emotions are just signals. You get to decide how you respond to them. So, instead of lashing out when angry, you can count to 10 or even 30 while imagining the consequences to give your conscious brain time to take the wheel. You might be asking, but how do I choose how to react, or even choose a better emotion? The book suggests emotional substitution. Like how caffeine substitutes for adenosine in your brain to keep you from feeling drowsy, you can occupy your emotional receptors with more constructive feelings. Gratitude is one of the most effective substitutions. Instead of letting negativity bias run rampant, that tendency to focus on what's wrong, you consciously choose to focus on what you're grateful for, even if it feels hard. They recommend journaling 5 things you're genuinely grateful for each week and reviewing them daily to train your mind. Then there's humor. Remember those laughter, the best medicine jokes. The science behind it is real. Humor brings joy and relieves suffering by blocking negative affect. The key isn't to be funny, but to find reasons to laugh, to consume humor, and to reject grimness. Because life has enough sadness already, and hope not optimism, mind you. Optimism is the belief things will turn out alright, which can lead to disappointment if reality hits differently, like the Poles who died of broken hearts because they kept expecting to be released by Christmas. Hope, on the other hand, is the conviction that you can act to make things better, even if the circumstances are grim. It involves personal agency and focusing on what you can do, rather than waiting for external changes. Finally, compassion over empathy. Empathy means feeling someone else's pain as your own, which can exhaust you and even prevent you from giving tough love when needed. Compassion is recognizing suffering, feeling empathy, but also tolerating discomfort and, crucially, acting to alleviate it. It's about becoming tough enough to bear others' pain and function effectively, like a marine who learns to perform under extreme circumstances. Once you start managing your emotions, you realize you have less time and desire for trivial distractions like endless scrolling or chasing money and status. This frees you up to focus less on yourself and more on others. The book explains we have an I self, the observer, and a me self, the one being observed. We spend too much time in the me self state, obsessing over our appearance, social media mentions, and what others think, which leads to unstable moods, anxiety, and depression. They suggest practical steps like avoiding your own reflection, yes, literally limiting mirrors and turning off social media notifications, and stopping excessive judging of things around you. Instead, marvel at the world around you, experience awe, and just wonder without a destination, like the Zen monk who didn't know where his pilgrimage was taking him. The big one here is to stop caring what others think. It's a natural human instinct, rooted in our tribal past where social rejection could mean death. But today it leads to aladapism, a fear of others' opinions, and inhibits action. And then there's envy, the happiness killer. It's a virulent, naturally occurring weed that we water with our attention. The advice? Don't water it. Focus on the ordinary parts of others' lives. Turn off the envy machine of social media and reveal your unenviable self. Be honest about your struggles, not just your successes. With your emotions managed and your focus shifted, you're ready to build on the 4 happiness pillars: family, friendship, work, and faith. These are the most important areas to invest your time and energy. Let's talk about family. Angela, a woman in the book, loves her family most when she's with them, and also unhappy that's when she's with them. It's a paradox. Conflict is natural, a cost of abundant love, not a sign you're doing something wrong. Instead of seeking constant compatibility in romantic relationships, which modern dating apps push, the book argues we actually need complementation, differences that round each other out, like an extrovert and an introvert. It even mentions a fascinating study where women preferred the scent of shirts worn by men with different immune system genes, suggesting we're biologically drawn to difference. Another crucial aspect is forgiveness. We often fall into an emotional monkey trap by clinging to resentment, like a monkey caught with a fistful of rice, unwilling to let go for its freedom. Forgiveness primarily benefits you, the forgiver. And finally, honesty in families, even if it's uncomfortable, deepens intimacy and understanding. Next, friendship. Edgar Allan Poe, for all his genius, died feeling insupportable loneliness because he had few or no friends. Friends are essential for happiness. The book emphasizes the importance of useless friends, not worthless friends, but those who are not instrumental to your career or social climbing. Friends you pursue simply for their own sake. They call this Aristotle's perfect friendship, or friendships of virtue. This means making friends outside your professional networks, in places like a house of worship or a bowling league. And in our modern world, we need to be mindful of the virtual world. Studies show that passive social media use decreases well-being, and that texting can substitute for face-to-face interactions, which offer more dimensionality and deeper conversations. They advise prioritize real-life interaction over vegetation in front of screens, and create a communication hierarchy that puts in-person contact first. Then we have work. Stephanie, a successful CEO, felt empty despite her achievements, while Alex, an accountant, found joy as an Uber driver. This illustrates that happiness in work isn't about prestige or income, but about you. The authors emphasize seeking intrinsic rewards like earned success, getting better at your job, setting excellence goals, and service to others, making the world a better place through your work. Workaholism, they know, can be a self-medicating addiction, a way to distract from pain. Much like Churchill's Black Dog of depression, the solution is to do a time audit, schedule downtime, and program your leisure, treating non-work activities like important meetings. And crucially, you are not your job. Self-objectivation, reducing your self-worth to your professional identity, leads to unhappiness. Take vacations without working. Practice Sabbath keeping, regular time away, and have friends who see you as a person, not just a professional. Finally, faith. John Newton, who wrote Amazing Grace, found true freedom and happiness when he discovered a plan for his life and turned his focus to divine love, becoming an ardent abolitionist. The book argues that transcendental beliefs and experiences, whether religious or spiritual, aid dramatically in our efforts to get happier. They help us zoom out from our daily worries, put focus on the majesties of the universe, and make us kinder. Spiritual practices like mindfulness help us be present in the moment rather than letting our minds wander to the past or future. They acknowledge that this isn't easy, but taking even simple steps, like slipping into a religious service, reading wisdom literature, or simply going outside and connecting with nature, can be transformative. The biggest paradox here is that you gain personal benefit primarily when that benefit is not your goal. Your motive must be seeking truth and the good of others. As C.S. Lewis put it, the only things we can keep are the things we freely give to God. What we try to keep for ourselves is just what we're sure to lose. So you might be thinking, this all sounds great, but how do I remember all this? The book gives us one final brilliant piece of advice: become the teacher. There's a concept called plastic platypus learning, where explaining something to an inanimate object helps you absorb information deeply. Even better, teaching a real person solidifies your own understanding and makes you a more effective teacher, especially if you've struggled yourself. As we each, our crystallized intelligence, our knack for combining ideas, recognizing patterns, and teaching others actually increases, making us naturally better at this. Ultimately, the entire book boils down to one powerful theme: love. Building a happier life is an act of self-love, and the 4 pillars are all about loving your family, friends, work, and the divine. Love isn't just a feeling, it's a commitment, an act of will and discipline. It's something you get better at with practice, becoming a habit over time. So the advice is to start each day saying, I don't know what this day will bring, but I will love others and allow myself to be loved. And when in doubt, ask, what is the most loving thing to do right now? It's a journey full of good and bad days, but the key is to keep picking up the hammer and starting again. It's a project both Arthur and Oprah are actively engaged in, walking alongside us. I found this book incredibly insightful, practical, and truly empowering. It shifts the focus from passively finding happiness to actively building it, piece by piece, starting from within. It challenges so many of our ingrained beliefs about what happiness is and how to achieve it. If you're ready to stop waiting for your circumstances to change and truly take charge of your well-being, this book is an absolute must-read. It really can help you build the life you want on a foundation of love.